Perfect call, Bruce. Hi, everyone. So most of us have watched Harley Quinn, and generally speaking, I think we all like it.
Yeah, I've seen clips, and I gotta watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. Hi, everybody. They're After Dark, while pop culture's still in a fucking stasis. I'm Connor. Izza's here, Hunter's here, Lou's here, Arlen's here. There you go. That's your introductions.
Yeah. All right. That's all you need. Yeah.
But I watched Harley Quinn in its entirety about a month and a half ago. And Arlen, you're just getting to it today, I guess, is the first time, right?
Yes. Because a listener informed us that it was on Max, so I was like, okay, well, I know what I'm doing today.
So that's because the DC Universe app is basically dead,
on its way to the fucking grave.
HBO has no good way of telling us what is on there and what isn't, and being very clear about exactly.
What are you talking about? They're the best at that.
Yeah. I love that it says for both Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn, it's like HBO Max originals. I was like, oh, we're just going to ignore DC.
That was my first like big red flag. I'm like, you're just going to take this thing out back and shoot it, and you're not even going to tell anybody. Like, I'm going to go to log in one day, and it's going to send me to a fucking 404.
Yeah, look at the flowers.
Home cases and
like the thing is, if you just folded it into HBO Max, like I don't see a reason why it can't exist the way it is. Like the comics, I think, is the biggest tragedy because
the comic side is awesome.
You're getting
they're going to keep the comics.
Stuff, I think so too, because like that's such a ready like what is it, $8? You get access to fucking years of comics.
I think it's everything from like older than 6 months.
That's what I remember. Yeah. And I didn't read the article because I'm bad. But I saw the article that said the shows will be moving over to DC Universe. So I imagine that they'll just kill the live action production stuff, move that all over to HBO.
Yeah. They've already
they'll retain the comics part.
Stargirl's already been announced to move to CW, and Doom Patrol's like HBO period now.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing is what's good for DC Universe right now is its animation catalog is ridiculous. Because it has Batman the Animated Series, every episode. It has Justice League Unlimited, the Superman show, Batman Beyond. Is Static Shock on there? I don't even know.
Yes.
It is?
Yes. It has like all the old Fleischer stuff. It has like every animated movie they've done. I think it has all the other Batman, like Batman Brave and the Bold, the Beware the Batman, all of that stuff.
That's a reason alone to keep it around in some form. I think anyway. I don't know how much value WB sees in that stuff. I mean, Darkseid War's not even on there yet.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
No, usually it's taken them like a year to put on the new animated films.
Yeah.
Almost.
But they are doing it. They're also putting it all on Max. Like, I don't know. I don't trust AT&T at this point. I mean, I trust them more than the previous people running the company, but they're doing a lot of shady stuff.
There's a lot of fucky shit going on. Like, what was it? The announcement like, hey, we're going to sell our games division. We're not.
I don't know, guys. I think that was a great idea all around. It's not like it's super profitable or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like your Batman games aren't, and your Mortal Kombat games aren't like big sellers.
I mean, it's almost like somebody wanted something, and someone was trying to negotiate through selling the company as a way of getting somebody to back down on something. You know, maybe that was what that was. Because big companies never do that. They would never threaten action like that to get what they want. No,
Sony's never done that before.
No,
Disney, everyone plays nice over Spider-Man.
I love capitalism.
Can I transition to speaking of Batman and DC? The Rocksteady's making a Suicide Squad game.
Yeah,
about fucking time we got some news on that. After how long have people just going like, are they? Aren't they?
They've been trying to make that game since Arkham Origins came out.
Right.
Remember? Yeah, they had like the after credit scene. It was like a fucking setup for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Deathstroke doing push-ups, and Amanda Waller comes up out of nowhere, and she's like, "Want to join the Suicide Squad?"
I love that after that game came out, people were like, "It's not canon, so it's not gonna matter." And then like Arkham Knight comes out and goes, "Actually, it fucking is." So
yeah, why would it not be canon? Like that was the dumbest thing to me. Just because it's different.
Because it was different developer and like it's
but
it is Arkham City
clearly set.
Yeah, exactly.
It's clearly set the same fucking continuity. Like
it's the Arkham City map with a bridge. That's the
with a bridge and less wrecked buildings.
And it's clearly the same shit. Like
and so many more thugs. Oh my god.
And
they're like what is it? Mandatory what the fuck is it? A curfew. Everyone's inside. I'm like, okay, so everyone's inside, and that means that the city is just like as the civilians go inside, 300,000 goons just fill the streets.
Hey, listen, Gotham City has a booming criminal community, and they're like, we need work. And they're like, yeah, we gotta send our boys out.
The criminals have unions. Nobody knows this, but they actually.
Oh, they do. No, they do. They talk about it in Harley Quinn.
Yeah, in Harley Quinn, there's like an entire criminal enterprise. Like, they have publicists. They have construction contracts. They're essentially like celebrities.
Right.
You get on talk shows.
God, the talk show bit.
Despite Arkham Origins having some bugs and stuff, overall, still really enjoyed that. Like, it's.
I think that game has of the 4 games brandishing the Arkham title, I think it has the second best combat.
It does.
Yeah.
And then once you get the shot gloves, it's the best combat across the series.
I love that moment. I love that moment when you get that because it's like this D-list villain where you're like electrocutioner and he's like talking all this shit and he just like hit one button and knock him the fuck out.
That is the fucking funniest boss fight I've ever seen. Because he walks up and he's like, I shock you, stop your heart, bring you back, kill you again.
He's like, hit me. You hit me first. You get first strike. It's like,
Also, my opinion, has the best Bane of all of them because it's him before he gets the super deformed cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also it's kind of like a loose explanation for why he is the way he is in Arkham Asylum. You get like an origin story for and you get an origin story for the Titan. Also, that final boss fight is the most frightening, stress-inducing boss fight I've ever played.
Yeah. It's like Alien.
Yeah.
Just because his design is so fucking intense, and like every time he grabs you, like the veins popping out of his neck are actually intimidating.
Yeah.
It's up there with the Mr. Freeze fight from.
And his
that fight.
Yeah. That's the developers being like, yeah, we know what you think you can do. We know how you think you'll beat this. Fuck you. We're taking all your toys away.
That part was scary, but no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I did because I play those games usually. I go through on normal and then play it on hard, or do New Game Plus where they take away the counter icons and enemies get real powerful. Got up to that fight on New Game Plus and was like, nope.
Yeah,
I am fucking out of options. Like,
can I say
because the Mr. Freeze fight on hard in Arkham City was fucking hard.
Yeah, he's legit like.
Because once he starts stripping away all the obvious solutions to attacking him, you're like, he's got half a fucking health bar, half the things in this room he's already destroyed. I don't know what else to do. Here's a battery.
Just like hit him in the back of the head for a little while. I guess I don't know.
This most disturbing thing in those Arkham games because so probably like a couple years ago or last year I played Arkham Knight because I was like, oh, I could finally play that. And then so like I grew up as a kid watching like Superman and Batman cartoons, and I watched animated series, and I know like all the fucking Batman villains, and I've read some comics, but like I had no idea who Professor Pig is, and had no idea. I was like, yeah, what the fuck is this? This shit's disturbing.
He's a newer comic character too.
Yeah, and that is also some grim. Yeah, that is some grim shit in that game.
This shit was darker than like anything. I was like, the Joker ain't got shit on this guy.
Yeah.
Also, like, it's in the midst of this whole, like, disaster with Scarecrow. You're like, oh, yeah, Alfred, by the way, I've been finding corpses strung up along buildings.
Oh, right. You want to know why Professor Pig's so fucked up? Guess who created him?
Oh, Mark Miller?
Garth Ennis?
Hunter's pretty
Frank
close. Grant Morrison.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was introduced in Batman 666.
I thought it was like Mark Miller or Frank Miller because they're both insane, but
yeah, no.
Mark Miller would make a lot of sense. He would make.
Wouldn't he be fucking a dolphin then?
Yeah, he would.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, also, if Frank Miller made him, he would be a cop. And
not pierce nipples that are Nazis.
Yeah.
Like swastikas.
No, the nipples are Nazis, Lou.
Yeah, you know that movie.
Little Nazis with accents.
Yeah. He has a tattooed. One is Adolf Hitler, and the other one is Mengele.
I thought you were going to say Goering.
One time I was looking up the the movie Wanted, which is kind of like it's stupid but kind of fun but dumb. So I looked up the comic because I was curious one time. And I was reading like a wiki thing and seeing how Mark Miller wrote a character that's like kind of like Clayface, but he's made out of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, okay, this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Can you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Millar.
Shit man or something.
What a great comic book writer.
You remember in the Ultimates when he has Blob eat the Wasp's head?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Man, this is gonna just turn into another podcast of us dunking on the Ultimates.
Oh, we read it for the comic show. It's like, the first one's not bad. It's like, oh yeah, all the bad stuff is in 2 and 3. Like when Hawkeye's entire family dies.
Yeah, and the longer the Ultimates goes, like I think I remember reading the first 5 issues. I mean, like I don't like any of these people anymore.
Yeah,
I think when Mark Miller heard of DC versus like Mortal Kombat, he probably just masturbated.
And he was like, "It's T for teens." Oh
yeah. Out of nowhere, it's like, I'm gonna have Hank Pym beat the shit out of Janet and then spray her with like Raid.
I think that's when I put the book down for a bit because that whole sequence is like really not fucking fun to read because first he beats the fuck out of her. Then she shrinks and he's like, "Oh yeah?" And then he just gets down with like psychotic glee and starts spraying her with bug spray. I'm like, this is fucking atrocious.
Yeah, at what point is this like making any sense? Like
yeah. And isn't the fact that like Hulk kills like 400 people during his rampage about Freddie Prinze Jr.? I can't believe that was a sentence I just said.
Yes, it is.
Is that real?
Yes. That follows an entire discussion between all the characters of who should play them in movies. It's very pop culture heavy. And it's really I only know all this because we read it like 6 months ago.
Yeah, he finds out Betty's on a date with Freddie Prinze Jr., hulks out, and then rampages across New York until Captain America kicks him in the dick.
Honestly, I feel like that's like kind of out of character because I feel like Bruce would probably not be that jealous. He's probably just want to be happy.
This
you know
is,
what I mean?
The Ultimate Universe Bruce is a different. He's a
Uh.
vegan and he's like also has like ED problems and like all that stuff. Like the Wasp defeats him during that rampage by flashing him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like Captain America is like kind of a nationalist douchebag. Like it's like that meme where he's like, the A on my helmet doesn't stand for France. That's from the fucking Ultimates.
Yeah, and that's
he's like he's also
still
like
the first round.
He's also vaguely racist.
Yeah, he's also flirting with the idea of engaging in an affair with Wasp.
They're in love with each other and like they have like a whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not. It's like Marvel doing Watchmen. It's like, don't fucking do this. Like,
why would they?
That's why there's only one thing that survived from that universe, and it's Miles Morales, and everything else died.
I thought that version of Reed Richards also made the jump.
Well, he became a supervillain, I think.
Yeah, which is like such a fucking cool thing to me.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Well, and what's weird is like
the first time that's happened. Isn't that one version of Reed Richards who's actually in DC also a villain? Am I misremembering that?
Oh, Maker. The Maker's a villain.
Oh, you mean was it? It's Hank Henshaw, right?
Something like that.
Yes, that's Cyborg Superman.
Yeah, Hank Henshaw, like that's it's DC's riff on the Fantastic Four, but I think he's the only survivor who comes back from
it. And he's part of the Death of Superman story, and he's the Cyborg Superman. He's actually an awesome character. But no, he's John's cover in the first season of Supergirl. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then they do continue using him, I think. I think he's still around in that show. It looks like shit. But yeah, the Mark Millar Ultimate stuff is fucking atrocious at times.
Why do people let him do stuff?
Because he was. It's the same thing. Why does Frank Miller still have a job in comics? It's because he wrote The Dark Knight and that awesome Daredevil run.
Here's the thing, like the wild thing about Frank Miller is like it was like 5 years ago. They're like, he's gonna make a sequel to Dark Knight Returns, or a second sequel to Dark Knight Returns. I'm like, cool, and they're like, it's called The Master Race. I was like, all right, we already have a fucking problem.
And you know what's funny is
immediately
they're in the process of the fourth version of that.
Why?
Called The Golden Child.
He's grandfathered in, I guess, or something.
He's one of the biggest names that like
he's got some dirt on somebody.
He has the best cred in the business and left
for no reason
whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's
I don't know.
He hasn't been being mean to yet.
The other thing about here's my thing with the Dark Knights, the Return sequels. Like that should be a closed universe. Like that ending was a way to close the chapter on Batman, but like still allow him to exist in some form. And like he has like that big showdown with Superman. That should be it. That's it.
Yeah. Like I don't mind Strikes Back, and Master Race has one good idea in it, which I'm surprised no one has ever touched before, which is that they get the Atom to unshrink the Kandor people.
Whoa.
Oh.
And that's the whole thing. I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea, but the rest of the book is garbage.
I can't stand to actually look at The Dark Knight Strikes Back because the art in that book is fucking hideous.
It's horrendous.
And no one's like, I'm just not gonna draw backgrounds anymore. Everyone's gonna be talking in a white void or a green void or a red void.
Does Frank Miller, when he draws, like, does he know what another human being looks like?
Well, that's the newest one. He doesn't draw it. It's actually an amazing artist.
Oh, really?
That's the weird thing. If you read Dark Knight Returns, Bruce Wayne is a jacked brick shithouse in that story. He's fucking gigantic. And then you go to Strikes Back and you're like, why are you drawing him so small? And he's like thin, and like there's points where he's like sitting down with his fucking legs up and his hands behind his back. I'm like, these are different characters.
Yeah. I don't know. There are choices in that book that I really like. I thought making Lex Luthor like super fat was kind of worked for me. It was just an excuse so that he could write Kingpin, basically. He made them the same character essentially.
Yeah, I also like I like the opening where Jim Gordon is like just fucking losing his mind during the funeral for Bruce Wayne and Batman. He's like, "You did this, you killed him, you stupid selfish people."
And I can't remember her name, but I really like the design of
Carrie Kelly.
Clark and
Diana's daughter.
Yeah, I really like everything about that character.
Her and the son are what the newest one is about.
Diana's daughter sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Diana's daughter.
Speaking of Gordon, though, I want to pivot back to Harley Quinn real fast because Christopher Maloney is playing Gordon in that show, and he is like giving the performance of a lifetime.
I forget it's him.
He is so sunken into this like depressed, manic, sleep-deprived, constantly stressed out version of Jim Gordon, and like half of his dialogue is just desperate screaming.
So good.
I need to watch Happy because I feel like it's somehow a toned down version of that character.
I haven't finished Happy, but it's pretty
Happy's
interesting.
great.
Yeah, I think the character, like the guy in Happy, is less, I guess, manic, but still is just like full of problems.
He's definitely not manic.
But like, the Gordon in Harley Quinn is a fucking disaster.
It's pretty.
It makes sense though, because imagine like that burden of like being the only not corrupt cop, and like, you know what I mean, and having to like be Batman's kind of friend, and like, I don't know.
And your best friend is Batman, who just dips out on you after he's done talking.
Well,
but then when you call him a friend, he takes the bat signal from you and says, "We're not friends, we're coworkers."
Yeah, he gets too clingy, and Batman takes the bat signal away. It's so good.
That's kind of why I love Batman, because he's like, he does help people, and he does, generally save the city and save people, but people are like, "You're a good man, we're friends." He's like, kiss my shit.
Yeah, that's the.
But he also fucks bats.
He does fuck bats.
No, he fucks Wonder Woman.
We believe Harley, yes.
That's the joke in the show.
also one of my favorite Gordon line deliveries in that series because like Harley's like, I'm pretty sure he fucks Baz, and he's just like, he doesn't do that. Batman's like, Jim, I'm down.
Yeah,
What's
that
weird is like,
show, that show does like the weird, socially awkward aspect of Batman really well. Like, he's a dork. He's just a total idiot. The way that he'll just like disappear instead of like ending a conversation.
Yeah.
Jim will turn around and he's gone. Like, that's really dumb.
well, what's his name?
Like, that's incredibly goofy.
It's immature.
Doing the voice is amazing, and he also did it in Brave and the Bold.
Right. It's Edith Bader, and he's so fucking good.
Yeah,
but he plays that so well. Of just like, Batman is not
a kid.
all there. He does not get it.
Yeah, he's kind of.
Yeah.
In season 2, he gets spoilers in season 1. He gets kind of incapacitated and kind of sidelined for a little bit. Wakes up from a coma, and Alfred is a sassy bitch to him the entire time for his recovery because he's like, I have to get back out there. He's like, yeah, you're not doing that. And there's a sequence where like Bruce is wearing like slippers or something, and Alfred's like, you think you can go back out there? And he goes, here, put these on, and throws socks on the ground like 5 feet away from him. He's like, here, put these on, and Bruce grabs like a grabby stick, and Alfred goes, oh, look at this, the great Batman can't put on his socky poos.
He's still like his father in a way.
Yeah, well, then he's like, oh, what do I know? I only raised you from birth. Change your diapers while you were a child. Change your diapers while you were in a coma. It does have kind of like a soft, like, the end of season 2 could be the end of the entire show, but I don't want it to, because I think we need more of it.
I'm sure they wrote, because I feel like season 1 is the same way. I feel like they wrote it because they don't know how long they're going to be alive.
Well, season 2 has a final episode that even comes with like a the end ? Like card that pops up. Mm-hmm. Season 2 is all about Harley and Ivy developing into a relationship. Like they go from friends to like complicated feelings to like Ivy's like,
confirmed.
Well, I can't like, Ivy's also dating Kite Man.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I mean, who isn't?
Yeah, but they've been like
the entire show, by the way.
Yeah. So they've been like an on again, off again couple in pretty much everything for a while until I think they like it was like a really shitty comic a little while ago that they like backpedaled.
I did not know this. I didn't know that was
a
pre-established thing.
Oh, really? Like even back to the original Batman the animated series, it is very heavily implied in those episodes. No.
I thought you were talking about Kite Man, not Harley.
Oh no, Harley and Ivy.
I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Harley and Ivy. That's been a thing in comics.
Yeah. Kite Man like doesn't exist except for like random like Snyder used him in the War of Jokes and Riddles.
Dude, Kite Man rules.
How the fuck does that work? Because Poison Ivy seems like she borderline hates humans and men, and Kite Man seems like a douchebag.
No, Kite Man in the show is a like he's a fucking dweeb, but he's a dweeb with like a giant heart who doesn't like one of the best things I heard about the show is that it is a show about villains. It's also a show about like bad guys who are not bad people. Like Ivy calls out Harley at various points. She's like, is this a line you really want to cross? Like, this isn't you at all. And Kite Man is a dweeb who wants to pull off heists, but he sucks. And he's an idiot and a loser. He's Kite Man. But Ivy's like, you're very endearing with all of your fucking, shortcomings. So she kind of crushes on him because he's so persistent and incredibly nice.
Okay.
It's also fucking hilarious.
Well, it also helps. This has like they assembled one of the greatest like voice casts for a cartoon, especially this kind of cartoon.
Because I heard that JB Smooth's a plant.
Yes, JB Smooth's a plant. He's amazing. He's basically the plant from Little Shop of Horrors, except like a tenth the size.
And he's like the Greek chorus. Like he's there to like chime in on shit that's happening. But he does it by like puking up the kid that Ivy paid to water her plants while she was in prison. And then she's like, what about his parents? He's like, unlikely, and he pukes them up too. But like, I think there's also an episode where he is on the couch watching Harley Quinn with somebody else, and he's like, isn't this shit great?
Ron Funches a king shark?
Oh I actually want to ask, is Harley's king shark better than the King Shark from the last DC animated movie was the Apocalypse War.
I haven't seen that.
Well, that's what because
they're very different.
Thing.
King
There's
Shark,
there's a weird parallel between that movie and DC Universe abridged King Shark, which initially stole the joke of "I am a shark," and that's the only thing he said. And then in Darkseid War, he says King Shark is a shark.
We also learned that he's Constantine's ex.
Constantine's ex.
Wait, what? King Shark and Constantine?
Yes.
Apparently,
that's
Constantine
pretty funny.
was the bottom.
Well, yeah, that's basically, because Constantine's talking to Raven. He's like, oh, God, my ex. She's like, oh, you did, Harley? He's like, oh, God, no. And then they just share a look, and then King Shark winks at him.
That's pretty funny.
That is an oddly funny movie considering how grim and violent it is.
Yeah. My favorite instance of King Shark is from a Gail Simone Secret Six comic where like the team, it's like Deadshot and Bane and a lot of other villains. They have to get like some get out of hell free card or whatever, and like all these villains show up to fuck them up and try to steal it. So King Shark's there in the hallway. So like they didn't fight yet, right? And then like I think either Catman or Deadshot's like, get the shark! Like they kill him first. He's the biggest threat. And then King Shark gets offended. He's like, what the fuck? Because I'm a shark? He's like, I'll fucking kill you! He gets really mad. He's like, what the fuck? You gonna single me out because of the shark? That's the funniest shit.
He is. Oh, it's not him. It's Killer Croc and Orca who get married in the Injustice 2 comics.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Yeah, in a very bizarre arc. That whole comic series is strange.
Just can get married.
Various points are like, you don't know why you exist, and this comic is going nowhere because everyone's already dead. Superman's in jail still, as it takes place between 1 and 2.
Superman
and like at various points, like, we're gonna break him out. I'm like, you're not gonna break him out. I know you're not gonna break him out.
Oh yeah, why do you need to? He's Superman.
Yeah. Well, it's because like his old like what is it? The regime buddies try. The other thing is there are like they put in a bunch of characters who weren't in the first game, who were in the first 5-year comics for Injustice 1, only so to be like, hey, remember Robin? That's cool. He's dead now. Offhandedly murder shitload of characters. I think Ra's al Ghul gets his head ripped off by Amazo? No, Zod has his head ripped off by Amazo. My bad. That's after Zod eye lasers Jason Todd in the chest.
You know, I really hate that you got that mixed up. Does that mean that death happens so often in that?
Oh, I can't.
It's so bad.
Yeah, between the first, I mean, the first 5 years run of like the canonical 5 years is like the grimmest DC shit I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like, it's patently unfun to read.
Yeah, it's like what would Superman and Wonder Woman like? Oh, how they would just like annihilate everybody.
Well, also, like, did you need to write a comic where Black Canary reveals she's pregnant with Ollie's son after Superman beats Ollie to death, and then fights Superman after getting a power buff, and Superman eye lasers her in the stomach?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Wow, what a great feel-good
story. It's like it's like somebody said, let's do a comic book that's Flashpoint all the time. That's
kids like comics.
Yeah, let's do one where it's Wonder Woman killing the Shazam kids, but like that's the whole comic. It's just,
but she's really creative with the way she does each one.
It really feels like because of the developer who made Injustice, the game, they were like, well, we got to do it like Mortal Kombat. Like, it's got to be dark and gritty, right?
It's got to be shitty.
Yeah, it's got to have shitty lore.
Yeah, also, I guess it's like to explain why the game doesn't have certain characters, but like, you didn't have to go about it that way, especially because Black Canary shows up by the second game.
But I do wonder how much. I think the writer's name is Tom Taylor. I can't remember exactly.
I think that's who it is.
He wrote the X-23 Wolverine run. I wonder how much of that is his creative decision and how much is I can't remember the actual name, but the Mortal Kombat developers.
Oh, NetherRealm.
Yeah, NetherRealm.
Yeah, I don't know either. Especially because Injustice 2 retconned, like the game properly retconned like a big story from the initial comic run, which is that Superman essentially frees Victor Zsasz with the intention of sending him to Wayne Manor to murder Alfred, and he does.
Right.
And then Damien sneaks into Zaz's cell, turns the lights off, and stabs him to death. And asks him repeatedly, which cut is Alfred's? Kind of awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Damien needs more, like, he needs to do more stuff.
Yeah, but then by the second game, they completely excise that, and they change it to the fact that, like, during an Arkham, like, incident, Damien murders Zaz just, like, offhandedly. And he's like, look, you could have killed this guy a long time ago, and now I have, and now I'm Superman's friend.
Okay, I was going to say something like, I was going to compare Injustice to, like, this other comic that just came out, and then looking up Tom Taylor, he is the writer on that other comic.
That's great.
Wow.
Which is, Deceased.
Wow.
Oh, of course he's the writer of Deceased. Yeah, I think he just...
Which is,
maybe.
to explain, it's basically a zombie. It's like DC zombies, like Marvel zombies, but DC zombies. Right. And it's just better than Injustice with that same kind of like hyper violence, but like it's not as unnecessarily brutal.
Well, so what that makes me think is that his writing changes depending on what the premise of the thing is. So I think it's just him trying to be very faithful to the game then. Because that's what it sounds like. Because his Wolverine comic is exactly what you would want out of NX-23 Wolverine comic. It's very fun. It's, for the most part, very light. One of the sidekicks is an actual Wolverine that they adopt and just, like, rides around with them while they do Wolverine stuff. So, like...
what is Wolverine stuff?
Yeah, what does that entail?
Just, fighting the Taskmaster.
Because her clone sisters.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Yeah. She finds these like clone sisters that are little hers back when she first like went after Logan, and she like adopts some of them as her like daughter basically. So she gets to sort of do the Wolverine and her arc over again.
That's funnier.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a very good comic. Like I still have very positive memories about it.
They beat Squirrel Girl and like I don't know if it was Squirrel Girl and the little girls that brought Wolverine, and Squirrel Girl's like, you can't talk to Wolverine. Like, he's like, no, like,
it's a different species. Yeah,
very funny.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was
I know there's actually a Mortal Kombat comic that's released by Warner Brothers, and I'm wondering who writes that.
It might be Tom. It might be him. He might. It might.
Yeah, I'm looking what he's been writing recently, and it's like he's been writing like the current Hellblazer, like I said, that Deceased, and then he wrote like the Free Comic Book Day that never happened X-Men book, which is kind of a big deal because writing anything X-Men right now means that like you're trusted as a writer.
Yeah, he's written Star Wars stuff from the looks of it.
Oh, so, yeah, he wrote like a shit ton of Star Wars at Dark Horse before the Marvel got that back.
Okay.
Or got it.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's just like he has certain restrictions on Injustice.
Yeah. I feel like Deceased is him doing Injustice his way. Because it's now that I know it's the same guy, it's like, oh, I think the extra brutality is because of NetherRealm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's probably like NetherRealm has like you have to kill X, Y, and Z characters by X date.
Yeah. I literally read one of the books today, and there are some brutal deaths, but it's like it comes out of nowhere because they're like, oh, we're going to go to this place, and it's surrounded by like this moat of blood and like this thing of hellfire, and it's like Constantine, Zatanna, Blue Devil, and like some other characters. I think Dr. Fade and somebody else. And they go there and they're like, holy shit, that's not blood. And it's Plastic Man that's infected. And it's like, oh shit, that's right.
Wow.
Like a Plastic Man would be like an unstoppable killing force if he was like a giant zombie.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that in the Injustice 2 comics, I think the first appearance from Plastic Man is actually fantastic. Bruce walks into an apartment, just looks around, and he just looks around the room and goes, garbage can, and the garbage can grows legs and goes, God damn it, and runs away. And then he goes into his room, and Bruce comes in and goes, lamp, and it goes, grows legs and runs away. And he's tracking it from room to room, identifying Plastic Man by what he's disguising himself as.
Yeah.
And eventually he's like, all right, fine, Batman, what do you want?
Yeah, I'm gonna share the picture of like what it looks like in the comic. But yeah, I love Plastic Man, and like he's such a great character.
What the fuck?
Oh my.
That looks. Oh, there's his glasses and his hair. Ooh.
Okay, I see this.
Looks like Akira.
Yeah, it's very. They're like they get there, and when he opens his mouth, it's very because they do a shot like top down, and it looks like the shit. What's the thing from Return of the Jedi?
Oh, the Sarlacc?
The Sarlacc pit, yeah. Where it's just like this giant thing of like millions of teeth.
Oh, that's fucking disgusting.
I hate it.
Yeah, I'm against this. I'm firmly anti this.
Mm.
We've been talking about comics for a long time, so I guess are we staying in the comics?
No, let's talk about real
We've been
life
talking about DC
wars.
for a long time.
Yeah.
How
Let's
dare
talk
you
about
bring
conflicts
that
in the
grim
Middle
shit
East.
here after we're talking about all this grim shit.
All right, so Syria.
Don't bring the grimness of reality into our talk about people being decapitated.
Yeah, no. I want to hear about Plastic Man having an incurable disease that'll kill him and everyone around him.
We can talk real quick about how people were shouting at me to show a picture of a dead pig on Instagram.
Oh my god!
But did you though?
No.
Don't they see dead pigs all the time at the grocery store? Like when they eat ham and pork chops?
I don't get it. Like I was talking to Sean Joe about it. I'm like, what is the problem with these people? Like I talked to like the post wasn't even about the dead pig. It was about the fact that it existed at some point and its size. And people are like, why do you think that picture's unsettling? Just show the picture of the dead pig. I'm like, no.
No more dead pigs. Things are worse than ever.
Why do you need to see that?
It's like, be more of an edgelord. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it now. It's like, really? That's what you want? You want to see dead pigs? Like,
Google it, you fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
Those are the people that Mark Miller writes for.
Right, exactly. Those are the people that read Crossed unironically.
Hey, don't talk about Eric like that.
I'll say, like, Eric, I dove into that and like morbid curiosity kept me rolling. And Eric's like, oh yeah, by Cross 100 everything changes. I'm like, you read that far in?
Oh no,
can't do it.
I know.
Can't fucking do it.
Whenever we bring it up, I'm always like a little bit shocked about how much he knows about it.
Yeah, like he seems like I'm in this. I've committed, and like I got to certain points, and I was like, I can't fucking sustain this anymore. I think by Cross 100, which is like the comic that takes place like 100 years after like the initial Crossed outbreak, like people forget how to speak. So like everyone in the comic is speaking in this like completely indecipherable form of gibberish, and it's just page after page after page of people just talking like that. I'm like, I can't figure out what the fuck this is about because I don't know what people are saying.
It's like Clockwork Orange, where it's like, what? Those aren't words, sir. Those
yeah,
are
yeah. But if everyone in the movie spoke like that,
right,
all the time,
everybody was like,
yeah.
That's why that's bad. Now, I'd say if you read one of the recent X-Men issues, Angel gets sprayed with a pheromone and then starts singing Neil Diamond while carrying an old lady over a field of zombie mutants fighting alien plants.
This is all right. I don't know how to process that. So
yeah, that's a lot to take in.
That's because you're not reading X-Men right now. He like sort of slowly etched you in, and then he's like, well, here's a layout of the summer house where there's adjoining doors everywhere.
Yes, we've talked about this. Okay.
I think recently
to us talking about Hoxpox again, but if we talk about Hoxpox again on this show, I will murder all of you. I will kill all of you, except Isaac. Isaac is excluded because he hasn't talked about it for an hour multiple times on this show.
I'm just trying to get us to not talk about Cross because no,
we don't need to talk about Cross either because again, we've talked about Cross on this show.
I've heard of that and never want to read that.
You don't.
No, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah, it's full of like. Here's the thing: like we all are pretty much desensitized to comic book violence and graphic violence to an extent, but like Cross is like, hey, you want to know what it would look like if we drew a man being sodomized while his 7-year-old daughter is drawn and quartered
Oh
behind
my
him.
god.
Yeah, what a
Jesus.
great,
Yeah.
Wow.
what a great
Yeah.
story. Feel good
Yeah.
for the year.
Who
I
wrote that?
think
It's
A
there's a
10-year-old?
character named
Take
Grant.
a wild guess.
Garth Ennis. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
it's almost like
he's
some
no
art
good.
should be contained. Some art should be commented on by people that can stop you from putting out bad things, horrid, awful things. The discussions we've had before are just like, why? Why would anybody do that? Why would anybody make that?
Well, it's not just that. Like, it's a lot. Like Kirkman did like some real fucked up shit in Walking Dead. Isn't that like the lady gets shot and then she falls over and squishes her fetus?
Yeah,
Ew.
but Walking Dead.
Ugh.
Now she has the the baby's born.
She falls over.
But like Walking Dead, Kirkman always did it with purpose. Like there was typically like some kind of big narrative event around that, or like it was meant to show like the indifference of like their existence or something along those lines, or to shock you, to make you feel something. But like Crossed is like when it's like every 3 pages, you're like, yeah, there's something if I can get ripped apart and just whatever. This joke is old now, and like I think the show has the same problem. Where the show is like, we just killed all these characters. Don't you feel something? No, it's been 11 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, how are we supposed to feel anything past a certain point?
Yeah.
How many times do they have to tell us that humans are the real monsters?
I haven't felt anything since 2015.
Well, that's why the show keeps on going. Like, I remember years ago when the show first started, I said this could be like The Simpsons and this could go on forever. I hate that I was so correct because
I just despise that you put that into the air like that.
Technically, it's your fault.
It is my fault.
In fact, it's not even. It's going on forever, and it has a spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
And a fucking movie.
Wait, there's a movie?
Yeah, there's a movie.
Andrew Lincoln
where Rick is.
Yeah, Andrew Lincoln's supposed to be in like I think 1 or 3 official like AMC Walking Dead movies. That are
okay. Why? Who? I'm so angry about that because who fucking cares at this point? Like, are people still watching that show?
There's a group of people who do care. That's
so
it's a popular show. I
don't want their money. I don't think AMC should get their money. I don't think they want it.
This is why my Simpsons comment was actually kind of accurate, despite it being a joke at the time. There's a new group of people who aren't bored of the show yet.
They're not jaded
adults at any point.
Well, they're stupid. So.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, the reason that they're doing a show about young adult characters is because there's an entire generation of people that were like 4 when the original Walking Dead.
Oh, don't do this to me!
You're gonna make Hunter feel old.
This is where me and Hunter start to feel like we're old men.
Don't do this to me.
There were people that were 4 who never really watched The Walking Dead.
Now they're getting into
going
it.
To start now, and again, I'm sorry I said the Simpsons thing 10 years ago.
It's all your fault.
It is my fault. I caused it because I was so right, and I really wish I wasn't.
Here's the funny thing, though, is that from a concept perspective, that spinoff sounds kind of interesting.
Sure, it does. But like even just the regular show, that show is going to continue on for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think Fear of the Walking Dead has been canceled. The only thing that will stop it is an actual virus that might just cause everything to go away.
Norman Reed is going to be chained to that fucking show until either he or it dies.
Right,
which is funny because he was a guest. He was a guest actor
that everybody loves comes up.
Norman Reed was a guest actor in the first season, and he just kept on.
Mm-hmm.
It's because
he got a massive groundswell of fan support like immediately because 1, like women fucking love him, and 2, like dudes are like, yeah, he's cool. He's got a fucking crossbow and rides a motorcycle.
Yeah, he's a dirty
man.
Did they ever officially make him gay? Because wasn't that like a hinted at thing for a while?
No, him and Carol have been trying to bone down
him
for
and Carol
years.
was like,
Oh, maybe that was
they have explicitly gay characters.
Okay, because I thought there was like a big movie saying that like, oh, he's bi or he was gay, and they kind of teased it. I watched one episode.
I don't remember this
episode. I remember that being like a big thing, and people like through fucking shit because Walking Dead is like the comic book show that comic book people who think comic books are lame watch.
Again,
it's
this is
killing
my
and-
Simpsons thing because it it transcends that.
Yeah.
Like the show is still going and the comic is done.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
right now we're like it's not even like a Dragon Ball situation where the comic is running and you have to fill time until like major arcs wrap up while the book is being printed. Now the book is done, it's wrapped up, and its trajectory was completely different from the TV show.
And Robert Kirkman wasn't making millions upon millions from it.
Yeah, also like, and then you go the other direction, like Game of Thrones still isn't fucking done, and the TV show is dead.
You know what's funny about the TV show is that it was so good and really popular, and then they ruined it so bad with the ending. Nobody really talks about that anymore. Like,
I think I saw an article about how the author had never seen a pop culture phenomenon so quickly gotten over and forgotten about because that final season was as bad as it was.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent that they changed the spinoff that they're doing because the spinoff
they were going to do like 4 of them, weren't they? And now that's like 1.
But the one that was on the top, that was like the one, is the one that was the most, I guess, hurt by that finale, which is the
Targaryens.
Well, it was the past of the North. It was like the North 1,000 years earlier, and I assume that they killed that off because people were like, "We're done with the Starks," and I think they're choosing the Targaryens now because they're like, people want to like root for the Targaryens.
People want to watch brother and sister fuck. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I don't want to root for the Targaryens, but like,
they want that. They want the incest. They want King's Landing in politics again. So that's the show we're gonna make.
It's also like there was a lot hinted at like the Starks being that like the main White Walker was going to be a Stark and all this other stuff, and like none of that came to fruition. So
a lot of things didn't come to fruition.
Part of me thinks that George R.R. Martin kind of like fed them the false ending just so he can come in and be like, "Hey, I fixed everything, guys."
Well, I guess that's a very troll move, and I'm kind of into it. Actually,
well, I heard they got the job because they went to him and guessed John's lineage, and he was like, "All right, you have my blessing to do the show."
I guess John's lineage too. He should have talked.
Started like 75% Reddit. Yeah, like
I remember
anybody who read the books had kind of come to that conclusion.
I remember when Game of Thrones was still a little earlier in seasons, and I was at this job and talking about it with this white dude at my job, and he spoiled shit that didn't happen yet in the show, and didn't even happen in the books about like John's lineage. So I was like, okay, I guess maybe that's true. And then like it happened, I was like, God damn, this guy knew too much.
But like I think by season 5, like that, like the idea of spoiling the show became impossible because they were so clearly running out of book material. Yeah,
the theories are
Well, and the other thing, like there was more book material to use. They just skipped over it. And
there's complete characters that are never even in the show. Like there's another Baratheon.
What?
There are multiple other Baratheons. There are multiple Greyjoys that they just like.
Yeah, and there's another possible Targaryen, I believe.
Yeah, he's like a fake Targaryen.
In the Golden Army.
Yeah. Also, Catelyn Stark comes back from the dead as Lady Stoneheart.
Yes, she just didn't want to be in the show anymore, so they were like, "Shit."
Okay, cool.
I don't know about that. I feel like maybe I'm wrong.
She saw the line of she saw the fire in distance. She was like, "All right, I'm out."
Well, yeah, maybe.
I feel like for
I do love the fact that like all of the Starks are now going to be in Marvel movies, and it's so weird.
Oh my god, they are.
Yeah, well, one was Phoenix, one is in New Mutants that's never coming out, and then the other 2 are in Eternals. Robin.
There's 2 actors from. No wait, one actor from.
No, Jon Snow wasn't signed on for anything yet.
Yes, he's signed on to be Black Knight in Eternals.
He's Black Knight.
Yeah, he's in Eternals.
Is Black Knight in Eternals?
Yeah.
Yes, and Rob Stark is Icarus.
I knew the Rob Stark one. I didn't hear the Black Knight one.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, we talked about it on the show, Arlen.
Oh wow, you're using my own thing against me.
I know better than that. My memory sucks.
You were just distracted by Camille Nanjiani's fucking body.
And his giant fucking arms. His gigantic fucking pecs. God damn.
He's like, hey, I'm funny, but I can still punch your face off.
Right.
I became friends with Batista and Stuber, and now I'm fucking ripped to shit.
Right? Yeah. God, can you imagine working out with Batista?
Dude, that'd be sick, honestly.
Dude,
Yeah,
if you're
great.
if you're a schlubby male actor, don't you just want to get hired by Marvel so that you can get ripped and become a sex symbol?
Yeah. I feel like that's the goal of our time. The male.
That's my goal, at least.
Yeah. Chris Pratt's like, oh, I was married to Anna Faris. Then I was a schlubby guy in Parks and Rec. Then I got shredded. Now I'm a leading man in like 7 franchises. I'm gonna get myself a new wife.
Now I get to be the character that people don't like in Marvel movies and be in bad Jurassic Parks.
Hey, he's also supposed to be in
because I say Peter Quill did nothing wrong.
He didn't.
You sons of bitches.
He didn't.
No, it's just the fact that like they portray him as a dumbass, and they ramp it up even more to 11.
Yes.
I think Arlen said like everything he does must be graded like with the same way you'd grade like what a 14-year-old does.
Exactly, because
you have
to
excise,
yeah,
because you have to excise life lessons you would learn within the next 10 to 15 years of your life because he didn't get them.
Of course, but it's still like, yo, man, you need to fucking back up when we're fighting. Then you don't.
He does need to calm down, and he does need to learn situational awareness. But at the same time, he's thinking about the only person he's ever loved who literally just died, and he's
my green girlfriend.
He was raised by a blue alien whose threat when he was acting bad was we could always eat you.
Right. Yeah. So it's like I don't agree with what Peter Quill did in that situation.
No, you guys did make valid points, but imagine being Tony Stark, right? And all the shit you went through, and you're at this moment where like we fucking did it, and then this little shit just comes and does it, and I wouldn't make.
Tony is completely right to be angry at him.
Yeah.
Everybody the day after Infinity War coming out being like, I don't like Peter Quill anymore. Fuck Peter Quill. I
just didn't like that wasn't really the reason that I kind of liked him a little less. Is that besides that they portray him as like they kind of ramp up his stupidness, which is like I get that he's like this dumb kid, but like he had experience in the universe being this like traveler guy. Like he should be a little more wise instead of like I don't know.
Sure. I mean, I
also
do have,
like, there's a bit of a disconnect between like anything where he's just being a witless goof.
Yeah.
And you put it next to like the moment Kurt Russell's like, yeah, and then I put a tumor in your mom's head, and like he doesn't even stop to think. He just spins around and starts shooting fucking ego. I'm like, that is the baddest fucking thing he's ever done. I love it.
I've always kind of imagined him as someone who's not emotionally mature. Like he doesn't understand how to, like you said, he doesn't understand how to be an adult in certain situations.
He wasn't raised by adult, especially people. He was raised by pirates.
I just feel like he's a little like they play up his dumbness more in the movies because in the comics he's not as dumb. He's just kind of like he's a good leader in the comics and he's still like mature in some ways, like
Right.
Well, having Chris Pratt there.
Yeah. Also, Thor in the comics is not the goof he is in the movies, but Thor being a goof works so well.
No, yeah, definitely.
Right.
To circle back, like in the Ultimates, Thor kind of is that.
Right, and I understand that like the MCU very much takes the Ultimates as like an overriding skeleton. Yes. Like, and this comes back to a problem that I'm starting to have with the Russos is that I think that in order to simplify things for themselves, they really I guess dumb down a lot of characters that they aren't like truly focused
in charge of.
Right, like they really made it. They took a lot of care and time with Downey and Evans' characters in Infinity War and Endgame because they knew that for them it was 100% like this is the end for those characters. So we're going to put a lot more attention into them and making sure that they're like perfect. And they were perfect in those two characters. And I think that they made a lot of mistakes with every other character. I still think that they did a fantastic job, obviously, and they achieved some amazing things. But in retrospect, I'm like, I don't really love how they did Thor, and I don't really love how they did the Guardians overall. My biggest
you don't like Dutch angles?
No.
Wait, you don't like Dad bod Thor?
I have problems
Like,
with just
you have
Thor in
like
general.
sad Thor.
I honestly
Problems
really like what they did. With
I think here's the thing. I think the weight of like accomplishing those two movies
Oh, wait.
is like shut up. Is like where you give certain things a pass, but I can see the issue of like Thor had a rebuilding story in Ragnarok, and then he has to do it again in Infinity War, and then he does it again in Endgame.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we did this, and Taika Waititi did it much better. And I know that like they had very little time and they had to adjust very quickly, and it's one of those moments where you really do see the only weakness in the Marvel way of doing things, which is they don't have time to really adjust.
Can I just say the one thing about Endgame? It was a little goofy. It's like, oh, he's fat now, and it's like kind of a joke. But then I think by the end they kind of make it better. Where like he's become Odin almost. But he's like he's gained weight, but he's like seems wiser and more.
Like that part. Like,
he's been visually becoming Odin since Ragnarok. But the moment he lost his eye, I'm like, he's his father now.
And they end him on a good place, but again, like giving him his eye back.
Yeah, the fake shitty eye that came out somebody's asshole.
I do think like of everything you're saying, like the part that's good with Thor is the Renee Russo part.
Sure.
And bringing her back, I'm like, that is a scene that I think those movies would be lesser without.
That's actually the only reason I can like kind of give the whole thing a pass, because the wrap up to all this Thor redemption stuff is really well done, and like Renee Russo doesn't even phone it in for that performance. Like she's being genuine,
and it makes Thor 2 a better movie.
It made me want to go back and rewatch Thor: The Dark World for the first time in ever. So, like there is good stuff in it. I do like how Thor ends that arc by giving his story over to Valkyrie, basically. I like all of that, but I'm still like, maybe Taika's idea of just doing a direct sequel to Ragnarok is a good idea, like an off-verse what if trilogy of like movies just following that timeline. That's interesting to me because I really liked what he set up at the end. I have also other problems. Like I don't like that he gets the axe and another hammer. Just that
the hammer was so catchy to pick it up.
I mean, I like the way that it's done. I like the way that they shoot it. I like the music and all that, and the way that it was handled. I was just like, but I like him as just like a lightning god. Like I like that he's discovered his true power and he doesn't need all this.
Yeah, and for Ragnarok, he's become fucking Raiden. Like,
I like.
My personal gripe is I could always use more Bucky, and there wasn't enough.
Isa, what were you?
I was gonna say I like the Tilda Swinton part where she comes back as what's her face?
Yeah,
the ancient one.
Whatever. Yeah, and like that was pretty cool when like Bruce Banner's there and like, well, Hulk's there, and she just does the fucking soul thing on him. It's like that was pretty cool to see it.
I just love how she's like she might as well be drinking tea while swatting Chitauri out of the air. She's like, oh god, like,
she's like, oh, what is this shit?
What is happening?
This is all very beneath me.
It's so good.
You mentioned the.
Why aren't there grunts for this? I'm the fucking Sorcerer Supreme for God's sake.
I went on a big screed when we did our Doctor Strange review, like when we first started the show. I rewatched Doctor Strange because of Endgame, because I was like, I really want to like rewatch that and get some extra context, and like rewatching the Ancient One with the context of Endgame. I don't know, it was extra enjoyable to me.
Because even like, I know like they probably wrote Endgame, after the fact. Like I don't think they planned it out ahead. But like Tilda Swinton's acting kind of seems like she knows more than
she's talking about it as if she has some extra context. Like I don't know if she knows exactly what happened, but she's the Ancient One. Maybe she went to an alternate universe and talked to the other version of herself.
Well, I think it's more that she could see through time, and she knows, even though she knows when she dies, she does know that she talked to Bruce.
Yeah,
and in the past, in the alternate, like I don't know,
she might have seen,
Right. So she's probably a character who has like omnipresence, where even in different realities, different timelines. Like it's like Dr. Manhattan. It's like, yeah, I experienced that. I didn't physically experience it, but I experienced it. Like I
as long as
understand
before
it.
the time she dies, she knows what happens, even if it's like
Mhm.
alternate realities.
Yeah.
She knows a lot of the other possibilities and how she would have felt during those other possibilities.
I love a lot of this. Doctor Strange did a lot of cool stuff with just the magic in the universe, and also like in Endgame when he's like when they're all arguing, whatever, and you just see him levitating and like his head moving all weird. That was a cool, really cool scene. I like what he did. Like,
I love how in Endgame
it's in the background of my favorite moment where of Tony like
Tony shutting down.
Tony just being like, you just can't do this.
It's like, who am I surrounded by? Like,
I love his role in the final battle in Endgame is interesting because he's like, you guys got this. Oh, flood, let me handle this. Like,
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, we got to move the person who can like completely turn the tides of the battle away so that we're not looking at them and not.
He's still kind of a glass cannon because if he gets hit, you can't have him just in the front line.
Strange.
It's like the same thing as like you don't see Ant-Man actually doing a lot during that battle. But he must be like destroying everything. Like if we just focused on him during that battle,
it would be rated R.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
Let me just step on one of Thanos' children. He's about to hit.
One of my favorite things about that end battle is that when they like the Avengers assemble whatever and they all run and you see the wide shot. Yeah. You see Giant Man there, or Ant-Man. But like Spider-Man swinging from him, and it's fucking badass. Like he swings from him.
I think there were people on Twitter or Reddit who were like, "Oh, this is stupid. Spider-Man's not swinging from anything." And then people were like, "Actually, fuckface,
Giant Man.
He's swinging from Scott Lang."
Guess what, bitch?
See, and we've kind of jumped around. Like the thing I don't like about like the Infinity Endgame stuff, is actually Smart Hulk. I feel like he's the weakest character to me.
I like the way that it was done.
He's a dork.
Yeah, I like Mark Ruffalo's performance, but like I don't know if I like that choice for that character.
I feel like it writes off all the interesting aspects of the character by making him a Smart Hulk.
It also benches him because now he's not like
he's not as powerful.
He's not the tank that you need.
You know why I liked it though? Because so Bruce Banner's whole character and
did you cut out? Or
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything.
I thought we lost everybody.
But yeah, I didn't get that.
I think Isa's been assassinated by the Disney police.
Yeah, the Disney. Bob
heard you were
criticizing
Endgame.
Well, I guess I'll say like what I don't like about the Smart. Yeah, it sidelines him, but I think it also is like. It removes the character building stuff that they were doing with him, especially because like him and Black Widow like never have a moment, and they should have a fucking moment.
Well, not just that; it's a lot of other stuff. Like he should have a reprisal with Thanos.
Man, I was saying some really cool shit, and Discord dropped on me, and I don't know if you guys heard it.
Yeah. I was just trying to silence you.
That's what I would have loved if they did Smart Hulk, if we saw him savage out at some point.
That
would have rocked.
I completely disagree. You know why? Because they use his. They showed that like when he fights Thanos and he loses, and showing that like he's really strong, but it's still useless. Like, but like in Endgame, they show that his strength is useful for restoring life and like using the gauntlet instead of just being. Smashing shit, You know what? Yeah. He's more of a purpose than just like being destroyed.
I get that, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like as a character development thing, it's because it happens off screen.
Right.
It's
here's the fucked up thing. It originally didn't, and there's a deleted scene on YouTube now of him emerging from Wakanda, the forests. I think after I can't remember. It's
Infinity War.
It's after Thanos snaps or something like that. But like. Nat walks up on him and he's wandering around and she tries to do the sun's going down and he's like, Nat, it's fine, like we worked it out. They're all like stunned. They're like, what? And he's like, I don't know how. He's like, but we figured it out. We as in like me and Hulk. So that was
because like use it because like the idea of Hulk being scared after Thanos is awesome. It's
and they have to reconcile their shit. Like, look, we both failed.
And not seeing it is a detriment.
I do like the idea of him him being the one to undo Thanos, that being enough, I kind of vibe with that.
I love it. I disagree with you guys.
I just rewatched Infinity War.
You've kind of won me over a little bit. I still would have liked like even him just being part of that sort of fight with Thor, Cap, and Iron Man. Even as
I feel like he has a different dynamic though. Like his
right.
I feel like I love it because like much as I love the Hulk and I love him like being this powerful badass, but like we've seen him do so much badass shit, and it's like we don't need to see him smashing this, like because it's not necessarily.
I can see that. Too. Yeah.
It's like he actually had a different purpose, and he's like he transcended just being this dumb Hulk, you know.
You definitely won me over a little bit because now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, but him, just the fact that he is the one who undoes the initial snap like that.
Because he even says it. He's like, it's like I was made for this, and you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, with Bruce as a combatant as Smart Hulk, like he's not without the unrestrained like rage. He doesn't know what to do probably, and like I rewatched Infinity War and Endgame fairly recently, and that fight with Thanos, like it's really fascinating to watch because Thanos first is like, all right, what do you got? And like takes a bunch of hits. And then like he's like, all right. And then the first thing he does is like get this pinpoint nerve strike to Hulk's throat. I'm like, I'm like, Hulk didn't get overpowered. Hulk got outboxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got like taken apart basically.
Just all of that.
He was outsmarted in a fight because Thanos is like, you think I haven't fought a giant brute before? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact the fight ends with a fucking body slam, like it's a fucking 80s wrestling match.
I also like that, like, okay, so if Hulk did Hulk out in the game and all that, a lot of the fights would be a little easier, but like the fact that like Bruce has the problem and not hooking out in Infinity War, it kind of makes Iron Man and Spider-Man have to step it up against like Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian, and kind of like see them have to like really get in there.
I like all that. I think my problem is in Endgame. Like, is the problem is like when you're in like I like this. I like him using the gauntlet and stuff. It's like, but the idea of like, I guess, because to me in the movie, what they're showing is that the two identities merged, and I don't. And that's a concept I'm not a fan of.
It happens in the comics, but like,
if they're gonna do that, they shouldn't just make it Bruce in a big body. That I think that's really like the sticking point for me is still like, okay, you didn't really merge them. You just made him Bruce in the Hulk's body.
I would have loved if they went with like that late 80s, 90s where he's in like a purple jumpsuit with a ponytail. Like, or at least just a ponytail would have been like, it's.
I mean, I don't even need those details.
The thing is, it is kind of like it's just Bruce in Hulk's body, but he's more confident and he's a little more happy because Bruce is sad and depressed and scared and timid, and he doesn't like, you know.
I do like
also when he does the big thing after the initial time travel trial.
Yeah, I love
like,
that.
Boom, time travel. I'm like that visual is too good to pass up.
Like he's able to make jokes now while because Bruce doesn't make jokes, or if he does, he's like immediately.
He's sardonic. And he's like,
yeah. So I do like that part, but again, like I actually don't even need Thanos stuff. I think Lou is very correct about the Natasha stuff. Like just even a light resolution, and it doesn't need to be them getting together because I know people are kind of divided on that.
Well, their friends died. They were sad.
But like some sort of resolution because he literally like they were a thing, and then he just dipped out.
The other thing is like
that's all we see.
Whedon made that relationship hella awkward in Age of Ultron because like he develops it by first having him fall into her boobs. Which is like
good job, Sweden. Good job, man.
And then like had that conversation which, like could have gone differently, but he has Nat say she's a monster, whilst implying it's because she can't have kids. When I think the actual context is like she's a monster because she's murdered for money for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's a situation where the writing wasn't its strongest. Where if you can imply one or the other in that situation, it's bad writing. If it's not clear that one of those is the way it should be, and everybody reads it an entirely different way, maybe that scene deserved another draft. Maybe, or it needed to be told, you played that a little bit wrong, so it can be interpreted in a way that I didn't mean it.
Exactly.
Maybe have a woman look at it.
Right. You know.
Women can't watch movies.
Women don't direct movies. They don't. They're not a part of films. I don't know.
What are you talking about, dude?
That's why Scarlett Johansson
Joss Whedon was Purple Man the whole time.
That's what it is.
Speaking of Whedon, like all that stuff that Snyder's been showing from his development stuff for the Snyder Cut is getting more interesting as days go by.
Yeah. I saw someone. I was gonna say someone posted like there's a image of Steppenwolf that's a lot more detailed
from Batman vs Superman when Lex sees the hologram, and it is like this fucking silver spiky like Doom boss.
Yeah, like no eyes or some shit like that.
As opposed to like Spaceman with craggy mutton chops.
I was gonna say with alien Fu Manchu.
I've actually seen Justice League now and I can talk about it, but man, what the fuck? Like,
I watched it on a plane so I could take a nap.
That's the best reaction I've ever heard to that movie. Man, what the fuck?
Like what the fuck?
I was Mr. Sunday Movies, the Weekly Planet guys, just like I think they covered all of the Snyder movies back to back, and they got the Justice League, and they're like, this is the fucking Justice League, and it feels so fucking flat and boring, and nothing's happening, and nothing's clicking. Like, how could you do this?
Yeah.
Also, I still love that when someone brought up the Russian family subplot to Zack Snyder on like whatever that social platform he was on for a minute that no one talks about anymore. They were like, "What do you think of that Russian family?" He goes, "What Russian family?"
Site run by Russian bots. So of course,
people were like, "Holy shit!" Zack Snyder doesn't know what the Russian family is.
Hey, listen, that Russian family collectively is the 7th, the Justice League. Like the 7th.
No, they are all the Green Lantern. Also,
yeah.
Yes.
Later on in the thread, he's like, "No, seriously, what fucking Russian family?"
I feel like he's
yeah.
Though.
That Russian family had better chemistry than the Justice League.
Like I know that I saw a picture of him at a premiere. Maybe I didn't. Maybe he, and I would understand if he didn't, but I don't know.
He showed up outside and then dips out the side door.
He might have.
Just came to shake hands.
Yeah. I don't know. I still don't care.
Man,
I don't care about Justice League at all.
The only thing that was portrayed correctly in Justice League was the lasso.
The lasso's done pretty well. Yeah. There's
That's the only thing that's been comic like really accurate, and the characters are like, what the fuck? Are these his characters?
Yeah.
Also, Clark returns to his job after being pronounced dead publicly, and no one says
right.
And same time Superman returns.
Nobody's gonna figure it out though. Nobody will ever figure it out. Nobody.
It's totally not him.
No, this man that appeared immediately after Metropolis was destroyed. Nobody's gonna figure that out. Nobody's gonna put those pieces.
Superman has white privilege because they know he's Clark Kent, but nobody acknowledges it. They're like, just let him have his regular job because he's white. let him do
Cut to Black Lightning in this universe getting arrested immediately.
I have to say, that has to be like the title of this episode. Superman
has white privilege.
I feel like this is the first time I've been on an episode with someone of color besides myself.
Wait, we've had other people of color on?
Well, no, Andy was.
Hunter's black, right? Hunter's not black.
Yeah, I don't talk about it.
I don't think you've had 2 on at the same time, have you?
No, does Andy count?
Are you collecting the ethnicity Infinity Stones? Like, what do you?
If you count minorities, you're racist.
If I was, I would be all those. I would be those Infinity Stones.
Bro, does Andy count? What the fuck?
I didn't say that.
I'm just asking because I'm asking Lou. Does he think Andy counts? I'm curious.
Yeah, he does.
I've never been on a show. I've never been on a show with Andy.
Oh,
no, Andy and Isa were on the same show together. So
oh yes, I did not know that. Okay.
Also, I love you, but it's Isa. I don't like to
like the RZA.
Wow.
Yes.
True colors are coming out tonight.
So I've just been going with it, and I'm glad that you're correct.
Can I point out some ironic thing? Everyone on Twitch that different people on Twitch will like comment on their Twitch or whatever. Like, oh, cool stream, whatever. But like. Most people will pronounce it wrong. Sasha Grey will pronounce it correctly. She's like one of the few people that's like, oh yeah, Isa. I was like, holy shit. So like she streams on Twitch. It's pretty cool. I mean, like,
if anybody's gonna,
Sasha Grey knows. She's down.
She knows shit.
Yeah.
Oh, the other goddamn
we're all
just
gonna
know
pretend that we haven't seen Sasha Grey do.
That I have no idea.
horrible things.
I've only seen her in that episode of
Wonderful.
Entourage where she meets Stan Lee.
Wonderful. She's like Voldemort. Horrible. But
I've seen her in 2 movies. No, they aren't those kind of movies. I saw her in. She's in Would You Rather, which is a pretty fucking good horror movie.
We've talked about that movie, and how her challenge at the end should be different. And then she would have succeeded.
The thing about her is interesting. She's smart and has a nice personality, and is a cool person.
Yes, she's actually incredibly cool.
Nasty...
She's also distanced herself from porn for
she doesn't really talk about
porn?
it.
She doesn't really need to talk about it. Like, she's still one of the top 10 trending or something on multiple sites. So, like,
oh man,
what's she gonna do? Is she gonna talk about it, or is she gonna?
She's like the Batman of porn. She's just popular, like, just,
right.
Yeah,
that's just like popular 10 years from now.
You just remember, isn't there like a big porn star that has like a PhD or an MD or something?
Yeah, probably. Johnny Sins.
Johnny.
I don't feel.
This is like a soldier.
This is nearly a B-Stars moment, okay?
I was gonna say, like, that was answered so fast I barely finished the question.
He's a comedy soldier.
Everybody knows who Johnny Sins is. Even people who don't watch that kind of content.
I don't keep track of the male porn stars.
That's the only one I know because of memes.
I'm joking.
Right. Most people know Johnny Sins. Some people know James Dean, and then everybody else is like a blur.
I know James Dean because he's bad, isn't he?
Well, because he's like a rapist.
Yeah.
He raped
Yeah.
co-stars
like
and ex-girlfriends.
The other guy.
He also did the.
That other guy.
Ron Jeremy's a rapist.
Well, yeah, a lot of guys are being.
Are you talking about the one that went to jail in Florida? Was that Nacho?
No,
something.
But his thing isn't related to sex or porn at all. He was a practicing witch, and he actually killed somebody during a ceremony.
All right.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yes.
We've all been there.
Well, because he overdosed the guy on like poisonous toad.
That's just college shit.
Yeah. And that guy died from the poisonous toad. So
what a
Nacho
fucking
went to
amateur.
jail. Yeah.
It's lightweight. You can't take the poisonous toad.
How did we even get here?
I
don't know.
Clue.
I don't know what's going on.
I like how he's like, I don't follow male porn stars. Then we just fucking go into a whole like thread of talking about different ones.
What's funny is we've had a better discussion about this than Justice League because it's so much more interesting than that movie.
Yeah,
it is. It actually is.
Yeah.
You know what's sad is that like I feel like I can't watch that movie now because there's a better version of Cyborg on a TV show.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is like real goddamn sad. Like premiere.
To be fair, Lou, Cyborg has been done better in TV for like a long time.
Yeah, I know how much you like Smallville, but like we don't have to talk about that.
No, I'm talking about the Teen Titans TV show, Lou.
Yeah, he's in Teen Titans. He's in the other one. He's also in Young Justice.
I'm not talking about the live action. I'm talking about the older Teen Titans. It's still a great show. It still works.
He's also like
Cyborg.
The character is really good in Young Justice too. Well, I know something really weird. So the guy that plays Cyborg's dad in Justice League, from Terminator 2,
Miles Dyson.
Yeah, Joe Morgan. So he's in Smallville and plays Miles Dyson. The guy who plays Cyborg's father in Doom Patrol is also in Smallville. He played Martian Manhunter. He also played Miles Dyson on the TV show Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So they've played the same character twice.
Oh wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it's like there's that few black like actors in like their mid 30s to 40s.
He's also in Doom Patrol. I'm not sure if that was mentioned already.
Yes.
He's fantastic in Doom Patrol.
Yeah, they play, both of them play Silas Stone, and both of them play what did I say his name? Miles Dyson.
Yeah. Also, a guy who plays Miles Dyson is in of Mice and Men. That's not,
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Well, that Joe Morton's in everything. Like he's
Yes, he
like
is, yeah.
the quintessential like superior character actor of like the last like 40 years.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes Ernie Hudson can't take every job. And
Carl Weathers.
I mean,
Right.
Ernie Hudson, as I've established, Ernie Hudson is the coolest person on earth, so he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Well, there's like 5 characters. It's like you're forgetting the other one of this group, and that's Keith David.
Oh man.
Which they switched. I believe Ernie Hudson's the first dad in Psych of his friend, and then Keith David takes over the role, and they make a comment about it.
I did not know this, but that's pretty great, actually.
Yes.
Oh my.
I love Psych. Psych's pretty good.
The new movie. Has anybody seen the new Psych movie?
Not.
You've not signed up for Peacock and watched it?
No, you're not on the cock?
Is that their tagline? Get on the cock.
No, but that's what we're calling it. Yeah, I refuse to not call it the cock.
Why? What it is? That's what the kids know it as.
Yeah, it's the cock.
Yeah.
It's so good though. It's such a good movie. It weirdly takes like a bunch of stuff from the actor that plays Lassie's real life, because he had a stroke in real life, and they do that in the show. And it's everything. It does like it plays into the plot, but like it's really funny and it's really good. And I think they said they were going to do another one.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've heard a lot of good things about Psych, and I've heard a lot of good things about Monk. And my mind is just like anything pre Mr. Robot from USA. Is it USA? Anything pre Mr. Robot, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, listen, those ones are fun and they're like kind of lighthearted in a way, and it's just like very like.
And they have they're filled with cameos.
That's what I've heard. I've heard both shows are like it's a good time, and it's not going to be a bummer.
The female, I can't remember her name right now. So like the number 2 or 3, the number like 3 lead. Her dad is William Shatner, and her older brother is John Cena.
What?
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty good.
And there are a ton of like wrestlers and stuff in Psych.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, speaking of William Shatner,
well, it was on USA, so that's it comes to territory.
Right. Yeah, it's USA.
So yeah. What about Bird Notice?
They gave him like funny things to do and like wacky shit. Like they didn't just like slap him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do, you know.
Right. I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Who here has been following the William Shatner Red Letter Media stuff? I'm curious.
What?
No.
Excuse me?
Am I the only one who watched this? I don't watch Red Letter Media. We've talked about them before, and how I think they're kind of toxic monsters.
I honestly, I kind of agree a little bit. I think they're a little.
Right.
What's the word?
Uber nerd.
You're saying white guy YouTubers are bad? What?
Yeah, they're white guy YouTubers.
No.
Perfect.
But I guess not them, but their fans caused William Shatner to think that they hate him. And William Shatner is just like hypnotizing himself into believing this further by like just ignoring when people say no, they really love you. And the Mike is like a huge Star Trek fan, and him being like, I watched the first 5 minutes of their review of Star Trek the Motion Picture, and it was awful, and it was clearly, advertising, even though they say that they don't advertise on their show. And it's just this long, weird thing that they did, and I watched like 10 minutes of this video explaining the William Shatner thing. I was like, this is so weird that like a bona fide celebrity would like pick on a YouTube channel.
Isn't he kind of a piece of shit though?
Can I say I love the idea of William Shatner having beef.
Right.
I love the idea of
that like have no beef with him also, but he thinks that they hate him.
Here's some more weird contextual stuff for that. Like, it's weird to think that like an 87-year-old celebrity is is punching down for no reason to a bunch of YouTube film critics. Like,
right. Yeah.
He's out of touch.
It's so weird.
Also, like, I tend to I agree with the assessment of Red Letter. Like, Red Letter Media should not cover modern movies, period.
No.
They should stick to best of the worst and like finding like weird treasures.
Yeah. That stuff I do like.
But like when they review,
or like weird oddities, like the fact that they got the writer of the guest on to talk about the guest, like that's cool. That's cool that they gave him a chance to talk about that.
They also bring like directors of like notably bad movies on, or they bring the star of like what was it, Ninja Cop on there.
Mm-hmm.
But they like when they review Star Wars, they review a Marvel movie, and they review anything that's a tentpole release. Like the cynicism and the jadedness is so fucking built in that it's insufferable. It's like you walked into this with the idea it's good. Here comes another Marvel movie. It's like, dude, I don't want to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Red Letter Media thing of all time is I think it's Mike talking about how much he loves and hates Ghost Adventures.
Oh, that's the funniest shit.
It's amazing.
So did they just have like a thing that happened?
Huh?
Didn't like Ghost Adventures? Didn't they have like a thing with a real life Annabelle doll?
Oh yeah, they touched Annabelle. Zach touched Annabelle. He had Annabelle brought a plane.
It's a shame when nothing's gonna happen.
But here's the thing, Hunter. I said this in the chat. Like,
you say that,
I don't care if you believe in Annabelle or not. Don't fuck with the Annabelle doll. It doesn't matter if she's fake or not. Don't.
Yeah, the guy who owned it like stuffed her in a duffel bag and put her in his carry-on. So if that plane didn't go down, then who cares?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true. Once it gets to wherever it was going safely, it's like, well, okay, it's fake. It's obviously fake. But like, who says to themselves, "Yeah, I'm gonna take this doll that is purportedly haunted on a plane." And I'm just gonna be fine.
The real one
with it. It's supposed to be the real Annabelle. And the actual Annabelle is just a Raggedy Ann doll. That's why they made her so like overly creepy in the movies.
I'll post the picture.
The skeleton that owns the rights to Raggedy Ann would probably sit up and be like, "I object."
It's not even like a scary Raggedy Ann. It looks like a fresh, clean one.
Yeah, it's like a preserved. It looks like it's a brand new Raggedy Ann.
When you keep it in a glass case for 30 years, of course, it's gonna look fantastic. But back to Red Letter Media, they have another video I really like, and it's Mike as a like fake scientist with Jay and just like a Marty from Back to the Future codon, slack-jawed, while this fake scientist explains the timeline leading up to Terminator Genesis. And it's the funniest fucking thing because like at some point he's just writing over things and like the board is full of like arrows and lines and words and Jay says nothing. He just stays slack-jawed the entire time.
Oh my god, I want to watch this video.
Also, they did that video where it's they took out lines from The Office from Robert California, modulated them, and put them over Age of Ultron.
It's so good.
Hysterical.
Yeah, they do have some good stuff. Like The Nerd Crew is one of the best pieces of satire ever, and it's them making fun of other YouTube shows. And like when those YouTube shows themselves are like, yeah, no, this is hilarious. We love this. This is great. You know that they've like hit on something true or accurate about YouTube and the YouTube space.
The other thing is like I can't give them too much shit because they have also been around for quite a long time.
Right.
And those Star Wars prequel reviews are like it's I don't think you can find like more exhaustively researched and like just the amount of work that had to go into those is insane.
Sure, I mean the problem with those at this point is
people cite them as fact.
Yeah, right, and they're very much like the baseline of Star Wars criticism at this point. Like there's already been this sort of movement to judge the Star Wars prequels as not just automatically horrible pieces of shit that has come after the fact. So it's the same thing as like citing that documentary, The People versus George Lucas. It's like, well, that's old. We don't, whatever. Who cares?
So that movie is full of lines like George Lucas raped my childhood. Like, do you have any idea what you just said?
Yeah, George Lucas is actually a good dude, despite like the weird writing.
Yeah, at least one of his adopted daughters isn't doing porn.
No, but she was in the UFC, which for a moment was considered tantamount. So
yes, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, Is he still crying about his parents' divorce?
Wait, what was that?
Do you not know that about Steven Spielberg, about the running theme of him putting
Crying about his
shoehorning?
parents'
Oh, the
divorce?
parents thing. Yeah, I do know
Oh,
about the
you
parents
mean
thing.
all of
He's
ET?
Yeah, all of ET, every movie, almost every movie he's ever made.
E.T. is just his childhood.
Indiana Jones never has a mom.
Yeah.
He saw Super 8, was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. He's like, my
It's like
dad
Disney,
me
Disney
too.
movies with dead parents.
No, but I didn't know about the Steven Spielberg porn thing. I knew that Morgan Freeman's
Oh,
granddaughter?
no.
Daughter,
You're
his
mixing. You're being racist. It's Lawrence Fishburne's daughter.
Ooh.
No,
Is does porn.
No, Morgan Freeman dated his step granddaughter. Okay, that's
no.
different.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh,
of.
okay. Yeah, Lawrence
That's what I'm
Fishburne's.
thinking of.
Okay, yeah, Lawrence
Yeah.
Fishburne's daughter did porn, and then one of Steven Spielberg's adopted children, she does cam porn.
But
Like,
that's
well,
not a bad thing. That's fine. They're adults and they can do that.
Let's wrap this episode up and get the fuck out of this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
You say that right after we've been talking
I
about.
love that
like,
when we talk about this, Connor gets very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's great.
So Naughty America. Let's review.
It's a great website.
Yeah, that'll be our next movie special, Naughty America.
This is the next joke spinoff. Me and Izza talking about porn. That'll be great.
Careful,
Yeah.
you'll actually do it.
Yeah.
I thought it was you and me doing Jean-Claude Van Damme films.
Here's the thing: we have so many joke spinoffs at this point. I don't know.
One of them became a thing.
The first episode I did, it became a thing, and then it became a show.
True.
Yeah, that's inexplicable to Joe and Sean to this day.
I mean, between this, the Brandy Boys, which will be coming someday.
Yeah. Connor, you say that, but every time I hear you guys mention like the origins of Granny Van Damme, I'm like, if they have me on an episode, she's in season 1 of Smallville. In like
No, she's not.
One of the most pivotal roles in that series. Like, it's
I
called
will
back
kill
to
you
in the
dead.
last episode.
She plays Granny Goodness. Me and
That's
John,
actually something I might want to see.
me and John's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle podcast coming soon. That's all I'm saying.
TMNT cast.
Can't wait.
Turtle soup. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Oh God, you should do that. You really should do that.
It should just be you guys reviewing the third movie every episode.
No,
Yeah.
it should be every. It should be every TMNT thing ever made.
Actually, yes.
An impossible task. Because
I just want you to watch the live action TV show.
Yeah, that's what you do. You have to review the next mutation over and over again.
Here's the thing.
No.
I'll watch that shit, and I'll probably enjoy it because I love
here's
super
the thing.
like that.
After we heard about Beastars, I am not surprised you'd want to watch a show that introduces Venus de Milo.
Shut up.
With a chick turtle with kids.
Let's
put
talk
down your
about.
drawing in a notebook. Venus de Milo pictures.
I hate this stupid shit.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah, we've approached the nonsense line. I'm too tired to plug anything. Movie Dumpster, we're doing the Barbecue. We just did a bunch of cool promo ads. I'm in them as a skeleton again. We're doing Razorback, Robot Jocks, Munchie, and something else. I can't remember what the fourth one is. But yeah, all the ads that they filmed are really fucking good, and they did it with very little time. So yeah, go check that out.
I apologize. There's one thing I must bring up with you guys.
Sure.
Have you seen the trailer? Have you seen the trailer to Money Plane? Because it looks so stupid and shitty, and I want to watch it.
Yeah. Yes, and I listened to the How Did This Get Made episode they did on it.
I've seen clips, and I'm gonna watch this at some point because I currently have Stars or Showtime, whichever one it is that has Money Plane on it.
It's got Edge in it.
I was gonna say this ties into Connor's podcast because you guys talked about Highlander.
Yeah,
with Edge in it, and he is the star of this movie.
Yeah, he's barely in Highlander though.
Yes, and he's the star of Money Plane.
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
He's the lead.
Star of Sci-Fi's Haven.
Yeah.
Got all three Lawrence brothers in it.
I've been Hunter Davenport. Teespring.com/America's Boyfriend. Other than that, don't follow me on social media ever. I'll know. And that's it for me.
Lost Hour Podcast. Am I getting it wrong again? I'm very drunk. So, but he's going to be on the Bond episode, which we're just going to do this on air tomorrow. Sound good?
Yeah.
We are so good at this.
Professional.
We are professionals. So
Consummate.
tomorrow we're recording that, and that will be the middle two, I guess, Roger Moore films. So look forward to that. Very exciting. Connor, I don't want to jump the shark, but I think we're coming up on a year since Green Lantern. Am I correct?
Yeah, because you're going to be on for what the fuck is it?
If you can remember the title of this movie, I will be very impressed.
I don't remember it, but you showed me a trailer, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
So I don't know if I want to spoil it or not. It's a movie that Sean messaged me about this a year ago, and I said I want to do this. And it's an insane movie, and I'll say it's starring Charlie Sheen. And that's all the hint I'll give people, because yes, that's happening soon-ish.
Yeah, I think by September it's gonna be happening.
I hope it's The Wraith.
Oh wow,
Money
Lou.
Talks.
Whoa, Lou, what the fuck?
Lou, you fucking guessed it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the fucking.
And by starring Charlie Sheen, you mean he's in like 2 scenes, because then he went to go do another movie.
But he's the star of the movie. I'm gonna bring this up when we do the show. It's a cast that's fucking insane. It has a Sheen. It has a fucking.
It's got what's her name from
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. Yeah.
It's That. Oh God. Okay. Anyways, that's my plug. Lou.
I guess if you're listening to this, I have like a million shows on here, but the next thing we are recording, since we just read on a comic show, Kevin Smith's Green Hornet, we are suffering through the Seth Rogen movie, and we're going to record that.
It's stupid, but I enjoy it.
I enjoy that movie.
Jay Chow is the best thing about that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you watch that, I feel like you're just gonna be like, why isn't it Jet Li?
Right.
Well, honestly, I feel like it didn't need to be Jet Li.
He's a little old for it.
I can see it being distracting having it be Jet Li as well. I can see that, especially at the time that movie came out.
It's also like, if you listen to the comic show, we talk about like, I think that Kevin Smith's script was like the 4th or 5th script, and that script was 5 years before it was made into a movie. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those properties that's just been like
in hell
at that point, been going around and around it again, and that's what they ended up on. And it had everything you could think of studio problems, which is why it turned out as wonky as it does. So that's what we are doing.
That's one of those movies that like shouldn't have been made, but it still was kind of fun. But like,
it's not going to be the worst thing we've watched.
You didn't need to make half these choices, but you certainly did.
Yeah,
right.
Like we've watched worse movies. We watched Blade Trinity. We watched.
Oh, you definitely have. You watched Hellboy.
Hellboy. I think Hellboy's close to the bottom. We watched Hellboy. No, Bloodshot's on like close, pretty much the bottom.
Oh no, Bloodshot.
I'm still surprised that you say Hellshot or Bloodshot is Hellshot. Hellshot's a new character coming from IDW next year.
I'm actually like trying to remember all the movies we watched, and I'm like, but the last one we watched was Constantine, the Keanu Reeves one. And I was like, oh my god, this movie is fucking awesome. And 2005 is the weirdest year in comic book movies, because it's Constantine, Batman Begins, and the Fantastic Four movie with Jessica Alba.
Oh god.
And I think Sin City.
It's a couple good movies and then a lot of trash.
Yeah. It's like 04, 05 is like a very weird, it's like the ending of one era and then like the beginning of the next.
Yeah, it's a transitional period that's very strange. Did our guest have any did you have a plug, or was what you said earlier what you wanted to end on?
No.
I mean, I kind of did your plug. You're gonna be on What's Hard, so yeah.
It's like shit. Was I supposed to bring one?
Oh,
I mean, you don't need one. You could. I mean, yeah.
I mean, at this point, my goal is just to be on every podcast I could possibly be. even though
Right.
even if I add nothing to it, you know.
Yeah.
Depending what time you record that James Bond, you could be on the Green Hornet one.
Oh shit, maybe.
Yeah. He's collecting his podcast stones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been on Secret Sessions already, but you should do that.
Oh
I'm
yeah, I
sure
have
you can-
like twice.
yeah. Oh yeah. How do I not listen to those? I should fucking listen to those episodes. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Rados, but
What am I doing? Go listen to Secret Sessions. This is my
Yeah,
Is my second.
oh,
Yeah.
Go listen
those
to
are good
Secret
people.
Sessions.
They're a way better podcast than us. That's
They-
all I'm saying.
Far better.
Far
Much
better.
organized.
Yeah, way better people.
I can't disagree with that.
I can't
So,
either.
I kind of have to endorse it.
Yeah, and you can subscribe to that
Since I
podcast.
can't prove your assessment wrong, I must agree.
You guys
Yeah.
are alright. I'm just talking shit.
I forgot to say, if you want to follow me, you can follow me and send me all of your Venus de Milo pictures to Young
I fucking
Underscore
hate you so much. I fucking hate you so much. Jesus Christ.
Motherfucker.
Oh boy.
Send me your fan art.
No.
Yeah, make sure it's
All right.
censored.
Okay, we're done. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, peace out.
R.I.P. Kamala.
R.I.P.